Hi,
Hi.
we're here again.
Oh, we are.
Lisa,
Yes.
2026.
2026.
What is in the schedule for the rest of the
Schedule.
year?
So I've got Greece in June, which is it's the fourth time I'm out there. It's a beautiful experience because I love the combination of workshop, community living, and holiday.
Mm.
And there's something fascinating about actually being in community and doing the work, so to speak. Because the work is really about being in connection with ourselves, noticing ourselves, our truth, our yeses, our nos, our maybes, really coming more in touch with our truth. And then being in a community, which is a bit like being back in the family, where, you know, you take turns doing the washing up, you take turns helping. It can bring up some triggers, but there's also some real beauty in the connections that happen in the community and being with people.
So what is the work that you will be doing in Greece?
So we are going to be doing the heart consent in Greece. So the consent work that I teach is going to be done in Greece. So it's going to be workshop every day for 4 hours. So we start with breakfast, then we do workshop, then we have lunch, then we go to the beach.
So do you find like when you're not doing the work, because you're all in a community, the work is still being done
Yes.
organically?
Yes.
And do you sometimes then, will you then refer to stuff that happened outside of those 4 hours that might have happened during the day?
Yeah, exactly, because then that's all about the noticing. The noticing that when are we overriding ourselves? When are we being sneaky? When are we manipulating? There was once where I actually was quite manipulative, I noticed.
Okay.
It was at the end of lunch break, and everyone tidies up, and then we go to the beach when it's finished.
Yeah.
And I was there with a guy who was driving, and I was like, come on, let's sneak out, get to the beach early. And I got stopped. Where are you going? I was like, ooh.
But that's like an opportunity to then talk about it and explain.
Yeah.
That gives other people permission as well,
Exactly,
doesn't it?
because she got triggered by me leaving, which is fair enough. I got triggered about her having a go at me. And then we had a conversation about it a few days later. We had a conversation and got to the bottom of it. So, yeah, it's great to be in situations where we do trigger each other and we can see actually what's really going on here.
I guess it helps as well, like the backdrop of the time in Greece is beautiful as well,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Like there's a lot of natural endorphins coming in which help the process
Exactly.
like a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
What kind of changes do you see in people from when they turn up on day one to the last day?
People often say is that it's more than they realize. I think a lot of people think that the work is about being more in connection with your yeses, your nos, your maybes, but it's actually much deeper than that. It's becoming more in touch with yourself and your truth. So this work is about choosing. We had one participant one year who chose to lay down on a mattress for the whole workshop every day.
Okay.
That was her choice. She was needing rest.
Okay.
That was her way of participating. Because often we have this idea of this is how to participate.
Yeah.
This is what we do. But it's really about choice. So how do you choose to participate? Do you need rest? Do you even need to be there? Do you want to lean into something? Do you not want to lean into something? So the core is that it really brings people more in connection with their truth, their yeses, their nos, and noticing more what's going on in their lives.
How long is the duration of the time there in Greece?
So it's a week.
Does it feel intense? I mean, I know that it's a beautiful place and you're going to the beach and like beautiful meals, but is it intense for people to go there? Like we call it doing the work.
Yeah, I know, which in itself can be hard
Well,
work.
it's yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's subjective a lot to where people are.
Yeah. And I think about the work that we call it, it's quite deep. And I think that's why quite often people resist it, because there's parts that know that actually it's going to bring something to the surface, but we don't know what it is. So it can bring up stuff. So it can be exhausting. Yeah, I have had scenarios where it's brought things really to the surface for people. But also, sometimes it takes a while for it to come to the surface. It's quite often when you're out of your own home environment, which is great, to then, work through these things or be more aware, and then coming back into your home environment. That's where maybe some changes sometimes need to be made.
Is the course, is it catered for anybody?
Yes.
They don't have to have done work with you before. They don't have to have been on a spiritual journey before in order to do this. So you can meet people at all levels of where they're at.
Yes, this is literally the core. To me, it's the most important thing in all work, is being in connection with our truth and ourselves. And it's very gentle. My work is very, very gentle. So even if you do lean into something, you're not going to traumatize yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very, very gentle. And quite often when people start exploring, because we explore touch, and this is non-sexual touch, if you choose to.
Yeah.
You can say no for the whole week. You can say no if you come to a weekend workshop the whole weekend. And sometimes people choose to do that. But you get to choose how you participate. And quite often, I think we were talking about this, initially there can be this wall up, and it can be, no, I don't want to do that. And that's okay. And then there can be a softening. It's like, all right, well, I'll try this. Or it might be, quite often a woman might say, well, I'll explore some touch with another woman, but I don't want to do it with a man. And that's okay as well. Or I want to do it with that woman.
Yeah.
So being really, or I want to do it with one of the leaders, I want to do it with the assistant because that makes me feel more safe. So it's really about choosing what's right for you moment to moment, and can I lean into this? Or do I want to lean into this? Do I choose to lean into this and see what's here?
Playing devil's advocate, what would you say to anyone who may have misinterpreted this as it being all about sex? Because I can imagine that that's arisen before with people where they think that it's just a sex thing.
I think I make it very clear in my communication that it's non-sexual touch, that it's not about sex. I think that's actually why maybe I don't attract loads of people. I think if I'd been more sexy about it, I'd get more people in, to be honest.
But then it wouldn't be like, the integrity wouldn't be to what you're actually trying to help people with, right?
No, exactly.
It's a different course.
It's a different course.
Yeah.
It's a different
and
course.
They exist.
It exists.
But it's not the...
It's great to bring sexuality into it at some point, but it needs to be embodied non-sexually first. And we also need non-sexual touch. We really need that, and we crave that as humans. But often, we've received touch that we don't want. And we've not listened to what our body wants. And there's something really beautiful about slowing down. So this work is about slowing down and moment to moment listening. What am I yes to? What am I no to? What do I want? What do I not want? And noticing that if we override ourselves, because we quite often do that. Someone might say, will you do this exercise with me? And we'll just say yes. And then we might be doing it and realizing, oh God, I didn't really want to do that.
Who would you say this course is for?
Anyone who wants to be more in touch with themselves, with their truth, with their boundaries and their desires.
Nice.
Yeah.
What would be one thing that people can prepare with themselves before coming on this 1 week? Because people might be nervous, apprehensive.
I'd say have a conversation with me. I'm really open to that. I think if you get a feel for me, who I am, what I offer, what the spaces that I hold, then that can give you some security, give you some confirmation around what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. I'm vigilant. I keep an eye on things, and if there's any doubt in me that someone's, I will intervene there, because safety is really important for me. But what I find is that things actually naturally soften, and it becomes more playful and it becomes more fun, and it's not as rigid as it can be to start with, because we can come in feeling a bit scared, know. But yeah, reach out and have a conversation. I'm happy to have a phone call or a Zoom call with anyone who wants to, feel
Have a
more
chat.
into it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. This is the 4th time, but it's the first time I'm doing it on my own. The other 3 times I did it with my friend Caris.
Yeah.
This one I'm doing on my own.
So you've been there, you've experienced it, you know obviously what you're doing, but also what to expect. So this is like a tried and tested thing.
It's tried and tested.
This is like a good one.
It is a good one. And we've had some great experiences. We've had some good fun. It's fun. It's not all hard work. It's fun,
Yeah.
It really is. It's fun. It's joyful. It even... because we were exploring touch, and I was actually doing this with a friend on holiday. I was like, well, can you put the sun cream on my back in this way? Can you do it slowly? And so it feels nice rather than just slapping it on.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Part of consent workshop that I do twice a year. So I do it over a weekend at the moment. So it's basically the same work, but I do it over a weekend. So you could actually probably use some of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it here in England?
Yeah, so so I do it in my own home, and there's something profound about that, actually, because it feels homely. It feels as though I'm welcoming people. So it's not like a workshop space where I turn up and there's something about it that's homely, supportive. I've realized that my forte and my strength is small groups. And a friend of mine said that I'm very good at regulating nervous systems. Nice. She said, you're a bit like the Terminator, but you're the regulator. A nicer version of the Terminator. And I've realized that works best in smaller groups. So my Heart of Consent, level 1, which I teach from home, I have only 6 participants. I've limited that to 6 participants and 2 assistants. And the reason I have 2 assistants is so that there's a lot of support for people. But also, when I had one assistant, when I started with one assistant, she shared with me that she realized that she was overriding herself.
In what way?
Because as an assistant, she felt that she needed to... Often assistants will hop in if someone wants to do an exercise. So I'll always explain what we're doing. This is the exercise, what we're doing. Who wants to participate? So some people choose to not participate. They may just want to sit out and witness. They may want to say no. And then I ask, who do you want to do this exercise with?
Right.
And that's quite hard for people as well, because you might get a no. You might ask, oh, will you do this with me? And that person might say, no, I don't want to do it with you. Because, it's really an invitation to be honest. But often if there's an uneven number, then an assistant feels like they should hop in and do the exercise, right? Yeah. So when she was assisting, she felt like she was overriding herself by feeling that she needed to hop in. So I now made it very clear for my assistants that they can say no. If they don't want to do an exercise, please don't do it if they're a yes to it. And also having 2 assistants gives more flexibility. But it also means there's loads of support, because there's actually 3 of us and 6 participants. And it's a really good number to actually work with different people. So you're not just working with one. So because there's 8 normally doing the exercises, so you get to work with different people, but not too many, and it's a small enough group to really come together and share your experiences, because we learn from each other's experiences as well.
Just to bring it right back to basics, so you do this twice a year, Heart of Consent, and it's a whole weekend?
It's a whole weekend, yeah.
So is it like an overnight stay?
No, so I do it at my home. I would love to do an overnight one at some point, actually. I think that could be amazing, but obviously that would cost more. Yeah. But I would love to do that, because I think that could be really good. But no, it's at my house. It's 10 till 6 both days, and we deepen into the consent work very slowly, very gently, exploring. And then at the end of it, we have a community in the Northeast where we practice it. So once a month, I do an open house event where people can come and we continue to practice. Because this is not I know what I'm doing, I've ticked the box. This is a continuous practice.
So then anyone that's joined the Heart of Consent course from the past is invited to that once a month?
Yeah.
So you continue like topping up.
Continuously topping
And it's
up.
like a community thing, so you really feel a part of something.
Yeah.
Let's go over what happens in the course. I know we've spoken about it 100 times, but just for the bit.
Yeah.
So what can people expect to learn, open up, unpack?
Okay. So the core of this is about choosing and noticing, really noticing what's happening in my body, what am I a yes to, what am I a no to, what am I a maybe to. So the work is really about slowing down, and we do it through the language of touch, because touch was the first language we learned. You know, and actually bringing us into connection with our skin, with our hands, through feeling, brings us into a deeper connection with our truth. So we use the language of touch, and this is non-sexual touch. So we start with awakening the sensations in our own hands, and then we move over to exploring that with another human. And we break down the touch into the 4 quadrants. So it could be your touch for you, your touch for me, my touch for you, my touch for me. Yeah.
I love that.
I know.
I've always loved that. I remember the first time you told me, I was like, your touch for me, my touch for you. So I'm doing it for me.
Yeah.
It really opens up the awareness of touch.
It does. Because often, you know, someone comes into a room, they see me touching you, for example, right? So I'm rubbing your shoulders or touching your shoulders. People will think that, you know, I'm doing it for you.
Yeah.
But actually, I could be touching your shoulders for me, or your hair, or whatever. And breaking it down really changes everything.
No, and so much of, exactly like you said, like so much of being in service to your partner, thinking that you're doing something for them. And then when you dig a bit deep, you're like, oh no, I was doing this for my own thing.
Yeah.
And being able to open it up and have the communication opens up a whole world of
it does. And
possibilities and closeness, right?
Yeah, just being honest, as you say, oh, actually, it was for me.
Yeah.
Or what I see is a lot of people will feel like, they will genuinely feel like, I'm doing this for you. But in the other person's body, especially in female bodies, women's bodies, we are so good at going along with and letting you do it for you. Even though it feels good.
Yeah.
It can feel amazing, but it can still feel like it's for you.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, highly sensitive men will pick up on it on some level and not sure where the disconnect is.
Exactly.
And that's because both people aren't even fully aware of it.
Yeah.
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 No, it's powerful, man.
It's really powerful.
It's so good.
It's really powerful. So it's bringing awareness to it. It's slowing it down. And those 4 quadrants, there's always something new to explore. It's not like, oh, as I say, I know what I'm doing now. I'm forever falling in the deep end and picking myself up again, even though I teach this stuff.
Can you give me just like a little example of each of the quadrants, how it can present?
Yeah. So if it's your touch for me, I need to be really clear about what I want. And I need to explain that to you. I need to, let's say you're touching my hand. I need to tell you how I want my hand touched. And I need to stay in connection with that, you know, so if something changes, I need to communicate that to you so that you know, because you can't mind read me. And also you need to stay in connection with your limits, you know, so if there's something you don't want to do, you have to be responsible for that.
Yeah.
So when it's your touch for you, so you're touching me for you, I have to give access. So let's say the hand again, right? I can lean back and enjoy it and receive that touch, but you're not worrying about what's good for me. You're just feeling what feels good for you. So you're responsible for your desire and what feels good for you. So you're following that, what feels nice, what feels, you know, good for me. And I'm responsible for my limits.
Yeah.
So if something doesn't if something, because sometimes, especially in my female body, that can bring up stuff that can bring up. So it's my responsibility to ask you to stop if I don't want you to continue.
That's so freeing for both parties
It
to
is.
have that in place.
That is the biggest game changer.
Yeah.
It really
Because
is.
then you know you can do it for you and trust that the other person will let you know.
Exactly. And then if you're both doing it to each other,
Yeah.
because what we tend to do is we're both trying to work out what the other person wants
Yeah.
without even knowing, rather than actually, this is for me. This
Yeah.
is for me. Yeah.
What's the third quadrant?
So, it's the same, but it's
Oh,
both
yeah,
ways.
yeah,
Does
yeah,
that
of
make
course.
sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
Yeah.
This one, like, what kind of transformations or changes have you seen in people from when they started working with you to after having done the work?
I've seen them really step into their truth and their power and their vulnerability and their honesty as well. Because this is an ongoing process. Isn't, as I say, it's not like, well, I'm there now. But just being curious around, actually, am I manipulating something here?
Yeah.
What's going on here? Who's it for? But also, I think the biggest thing is actually for the body to trust. I'll speak for myself. Yeah, emotion. My body to trust me.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is my transformation, and I
Yeah.
see this in other people because my body trusts me now because I listen to her. I slow down. I listen to what she wants. And the biggest thing that I see is that what we think we want is not what the body wants.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so I might think, oh, my body's a no, and my body's a yes. If I take the time to slow down and listen, she'll show me.
And that opens up so many benefits afterwards. That allows your body to, your whole nervous system can then
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
because it's like, my mind has got this.
Yeah.
My mind is in tune with my body. right?
Yeah, and I can express it because the problem is that often we go into a freezy, fawny state and we can't express it, and you know, for our bodies that's harsh, but my body knows now that I will express it, I will speak my truth, and even if I fuck up and I don't speak my truth, when I realize it, I'll go back to the crime scene and I'll do it for me.
I recognize in myself in certain situations that I might react a little bit blunt because I feel rejected.
Yeah.
Or I might act a bit aggressive is a strong word, but like maybe on some level psychologically aggressive because I feel vulnerable and rejected. But then by being aware of everything that you're talking about, it kind of diffuses because there's understanding, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, actually, this isn't rejection. This is being in tune with yourself and the person you're with.
Yeah.
You know, understanding that there's deeper layers than just, oh, she doesn't want me to do this. Or
Yeah,
she-
yeah,
you know.
it's because this is important to her.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, as you say, often, and that's, I think, why it's so important to practice saying no and asking for what we want, because it can initially feel like, you know, a huge rejection to get a no, or
Yeah.
I'm doing something wrong or whatever, rather than actually, this is just this person's truth in this moment, and it's
Yeah.
not about me, you know.
No, and trusting that on the other side of that is much better things to come.
Exactly. There's this deepening.
Yeah.
And this vulnerability and the honesty that opens up when we can be curious. Be curious about ourselves, you know, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. Yeah.
But it's work. So we'll see you there.
It's play. We have fun with it. We have
It is
lots of
play,
fun.
yeah, right.
We do have lots of fun with it as well, because you know, often around touch, it can be quite serious, right?
Yeah.
It
yeah.
can be like, oh, getting it
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
and then, but actually, there is often what I find in this work that when we start deepening into it, there's this playful element that's like almost like the child, like this curiosity. It's like, ooh, what is here? What is this? What does that feel like?
Yeah.
You know, and often when I do my monthly get-togethers where we practice it, you know, I'll bring in, you know, what do you need tonight, and people come up with all sorts of. It's like, well, actually, I need this, but I'm not quite sure what that looks like, and then everyone will pile together and they'll try and find a way, and it works.
Nice.
It works, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And safe.
And safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love that.
Mm.